Starfield, had its ups and downs, and didn't win the game of the year. A lot of people said it's boring, which I can't really blame them. There are times where it's really, really boring and really stagnant and stale. But I believe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, some of you may say, what I'm about to say, I'm delusional, dude. Stop being over optimistic about this game, because I'm hearing many people have stopped playing the game and on to other things. And it's not because Starfield is that bad. It's actually not bad at all. I believe there's other options of video games. There's so many video games, so many good games going out. But I believe at some point, Starfield will be one of the best games ever made. Hear me out now. Hear me out. I think Starfield as far as its open world aspects and as far as the 1,000 planets and whatever, that was overkill. They need to condense that. I think modders will condense that. I think actually Bethesda, word on the street, are working on some aspects of the game, some fixes, some advancements coming up in the next months. Well, this month. I'm sorry, not this month, but this year, to fix certain aspects and to tighten the game up. There's a lot of dialogue in this game. This game is heavily dialogued. The planets are barren. We all know this stuff by now. The modders will have to come in. Now, some of the I'm hearing some modders are saying we're not going to be able to fix this. And what I'm trying to talk about is to pinpoint exactly what needs to be fixed. I know the modders can make cheats and whatever, or infinite this and infinite that. I'm not talking about that. I'm focusing on the modders and Bethesda are going to have to fix the planet situation and I don't know if they can get rid of the loading screen, but they need to make it to where these planets have way more stuff to do on them. And you may have to just wipe out a lot of the game. They need to make options where infinitive options, so you can see that there's multiple resources on a planet. There's more cities on different random planets, not just the cities like the other, the main cities. There's more to do in other places. The random procedurally generated situation, in my opinion, was an epic fail. It does sound good on paper. Oh yeah, we just get the computer, the AI, to randomly generate a pre-generated facility on this random planet, but on paper that sounds good, but in reality it's bad, because the AI is replicating the same old thing over and over and over again. Say for instance, you got A, B, C, and D, right? And you go on a planet, the AI is picking one of those alphabets to replicate a facility, and it keeps randomly picking B, B, and B, B every time it picks B. I haven't seen C yet. You see what I'm saying? The game is not offering everything it has to offer. It keeps showing me the same thing on these planets when it has actually more to offer. It has more content, but it keeps randomly generating the same old facility when there actually are more facilities it can generate. They need to fix that situation to where I need to start seeing different things here. There needs to be more direction in this game, more explaining in this game. There's a lot of things I don't understand. I get it, the concept of you figuring out. I don't know how to make weapons, modify weapons. There's no tutorial to how to modify this, to how to build a base. I got to keep looking on YouTube to figure. It's complicated. And we do not have the patience as gamers to do that, like for real. There needs to be more explaining with certain aspects. There needs to be a mod that comes out where I can take out all NPCs, you can take out all NPCs. Because you say I got choices, right? The choice is yours. The choice is not mine when I got to follow the quest line. And yeah, I may break the game, have a warning that say if you eliminate this NPC or get rid of this NPC, you'll break the game. You can no longer advance through the main story. Fine. But let me have that choice. And I think this should be something that they should consider. But until then, Starfield is just going to be... listen to me. Make no mistake about it. There are a huge amount of gamers that's loving Starfield like no tomorrow. And I was one of them. But after a certain point, I was like, okay, I got other games to play. I can't keep playing this game. And with Starfield, you don't feel for... You know that Starfield has so much content that when you actually stop playing the game, you kind of don't feel fulfilled. With certain games, that's a fulfillment after you beat the game. Like, I beat the game. I did it. I accomplished this game. But with Starfield, there's so much content that even after you beat the main story, you still know that there's other universes, there are other cutscenes you haven't seen, there's other dialogues, there are other missions that you have to dig through all the other same missions to get to that you haven't seen. So there's no fulfillment there because there's so much red tape, so much veils over veils. Oh, you got to speak to him. You got to go over to that planet, on that random planet, and find him and talk to them. I forgot to talk to him. I didn't know to talk to him. So if they can just get rid of the unnecessary stuff. See, Skyrim, I believe, is in this game somewhere. Fallout is in this game somewhere. And when I mean this game, I mean Starfield. Starfield is in that. I mean, Skyrim is in that game. But see, they try to, in my opinion, they put too much other fluff in it. It's too much fluff, man. It's like a delicious cake, but it just got way too much icing. I can't get to the cake because it's too sweet with icing. Get rid of some of this icing so we can get to the actual cake. And that's what I believe Starfield has done. They don't need all these planets. At a certain point, this game will be a great game, though. I mean, it's already a great game, but a generational game, it could get there. There's still hope. And I'm looking at different websites, and they still talking about Starfield. Not in a negative way, in a good way. I read a Reddit post where they said somebody found this overpowered gun somewhere. And this guy found this, and that guy found this player, and that guy found this companion. So the game is still talked about positively. But for the casual, for a lot of the naysayers, we're just not seeing that. We're not patient enough. Well, I'm not going to put me in it, but I'm kind of like in the middle. I'm kind of love the game, but then I kind of see where, wow, okay, this is getting kind of stagnant. But the naysayers don't have enough patience for the game to change its mind. There was enough hate on Starfield, enough bashing Starfield. That was more exciting than actual talking about the actual game. But anyway, I believe at a certain point, because look, you had No Man's Sky and you had Cyberpunk. These games, both of those games when they came out, was criticized very, very harshly. But to be fair with No Man's Sky was revolutionary, where you can seamlessly go out of one planet and go into another. That was something we have never seen before, and they really brought that to the table. But if you look at No Man's Sky now, they're still winning awards. A game that came out years ago, some years ago, is still winning awards. That's a win-win. That's a redemption story. Cyberpunk winning awards for its DLC and the updates and patches that they made at the Game Awards. That's a redemption story. I believe Starfield is going to get his redemption story, and Starfield may have the greatest redemption story of them all. Call me delusional, call me crazy. Mark my words. Starfield may have the greatest redemption story of them all, where a game that a lot of us didn't understand, maybe 2020, at the end of 2024, I believe Starfield will turn it around. And I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to see it. And I think Bethesda can possibly see, and this is my opinion, can possibly see where they kind of shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done that. And we thought the players would like this. We thought the fans would love that. And they just was mistaken. They just was mistaken. And it's okay. Sometimes you can think somebody like this. You think your girlfriend want these flowers, but she really don't want those flowers. She really wanted some candy. Well, it's just like that. You don't really know. You kind of got envisioned something in your head. I think these developers did envisioned us wanting these things to be in the game, but then wait a minute, I thought you would like that. Man, we spent hours and hours and days and days on this game doing this, and they don't even like that aspect of the game, and they're gonna have to just let it sink in. Like, well, we did waste a lot of time with that element. But we're going to have to, guys, dial it back. We appreciate this department working on this aspect. But the fans, a lot of the consumers are not really liking this. We're going to have to dial it back, take that away in the new update, rearrange this, move that over there, take away these planets that's not really doing nothing, put more resources here, make a maybe tutorial part in the game where to show how to make a outpost, how to make a gun, be a little bit more easygoing when it comes to some of these perks, where I don't have to know this perk to make this type of modification to a gun. I don't have to know this to make this modification to an outpost. I don't have, because we're complicating now. Now we feel like this game is giving out college courses now. We don't want to make the game that we thought the player would like that, and it would make more hours played, but it's becoming to the point that the people are not becoming more entertained. They're becoming bored with these things, because games shouldn't really be this time consuming and complicated to get to things we want to do in the game. Anyway, Starfield will turn around. There are going to be some changes, I believe. Well, I don't believe, it's a fact. There's going to be some type of thing Bethesda's going to do to this game. And now the cutscenes, loading screens, I don't know. I'm just going to have to live with the loading screens. But if they can fix the other stuff to get it tolerable, I think we're going to turn things around. But regardless, Starfield still is a great game to many of us. Even with the fluff, even with the dialogue, even with the over this and learning that some people appreciate the fact that you do have to learn this skill. You have to take so much hours of your time to figure out certain things. Some people love it. So, but we need Starfield deserves to be critically acclaimed. I repeat, Starfield deserves to be critically acclaimed like Baldur's Gate 3. We don't need to have a niche group of us loving the game. We got to have everyone agreeing that the game is good. Starfield deserves that. Bethesda deserves Starfield to be everyone agrees, like, oh, okay, I don't like this, I don't like that, but the game is good. See, Baldur's Gate 3 have some of us saying, I don't like the combat, but hey, the game is great. That's how we need Starfield to do. We need to say, well, I don't like that and I don't like this, but the game is awesome. Starfield, you don't have that. You have a lot of people on social media. You have the media, the influencers are saying this game sucks. You want the influencers to say this game is great. See, it doesn't matter. We're living in a time now that it really don't matter. Well, it does matter, but it really don't. The social media influencer is going to set the tone of your video game. They're going to be a huge part of it. Because if I'm a social media guy and I talk about your game, I will possibly, if I talk about your game in a negative way, I'm possibly going to prevent someone that's never played the game or that's on the fence look at my channel and say, well, that guy said the game suck. I'm not wasting my money. I trust that YouTuber. He knows when the game sucks. I was curious about the game and I was about to buy the game, but I'm not spending my hard-earned money because that influencer said the game sucked. You're going to have to, I'm going to keep it real. You're going to have to please a few people. And when I mean a few influencers, in order to you're going to have to get us to rant and rave. I'm a small channel. I really don't have a dog in the fight, but the big channels, you're going to get them to have to rant and rave like the Angry Joe to just say, yeah, this game is great. And then everybody be like, oh, Angry Joe said this game is great. I'm going to go play it. So, in a way, you kind of gotta have to realize where your bread is buttered. Now, you may have some people that's not an influencer or not on YouTube, not on social media at all, but absolutely love the game and telling their friends about it. But the internet is going off. A lot of the internet and the anticipation of this game is going off the internet and what everyone's saying on Reddit, what everyone's saying on these different platforms. That's where that's where everyone's trying to, like, we can look at the game. We look at the trailer and say, oh, that game looks great. Let me think what this YouTuber, what this guy on his Reddit said, what he thinks about it, what this reviewer said about it. And the person can say the game looked great to me on television, but why is everyone saying the game sucked? Now, the game may not actually suck. The game just may not be a certain amount of people's cup of tea, but if you play it, it may be the greatest game you ever played. But the problem is now there's so many video games that if we bought every single video game we liked, we'll be down bad. So we're trying to make a ransom because these games are time consuming. These games are taking hours and hours and hours to beat. So now we're trying to pinpoint. We don't have enough time in the day to just play every video game we like. I'm going to play every single video game that I think is look cool. We don't have time for it. So we're trying to, the regular consumer is trying to get to the nitty gritty. Okay, the game look cool. Check. Now, what the reviews are. If the reviews are good, check. What are these YouTubers and what are the people influencers saying? They saying it's good or bad? It's good? Okay, check. Now I'm going to go buy it. Now I'm going to go play it. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. Well, next. That's how the checks and balances are going to the game. We're not just going off commercials anymore. Starfield was just going off the direct. In my opinion, going off that PlayStation Direct. The Direct looked cool, it looked awesome, but when people started getting into review copies and the reviewers were saying, oh, this game is not good, they set the tone of what everyone else would think. There was no optimistic thinking once everyone else before got the game and started setting the tone. Well, oh, this game, I don't know about this game. Then their influence, there's all influencers, their influence them to say, well, I don't like this game either. I mean, I kind of like it, but everyone else is talking about Spider-Man. Everyone's saying Spider-Man is good, and I'm playing this game. Let me go try Spider-Man. And then you get sucked into Spider-Man, and you don't forget about Starfield. And then by the time you go put Starfield in, you don't forget what storyline you was playing, what missions you was doing, and then you just get out of the game. Oh, boy, but that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Well, anyway, that's all I got to say about Starfield. Maybe they'll turn around. Maybe they won't. I think they will. I haven't been playing it in weeks, though. I haven't played Starfield in weeks. Other games I've been playing, man. Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinity Wealth is coming out. WWE 2K24 is supposedly rumored to be coming out in March. Starfield won't be played by me for a very long time, guys. I'm just going to keep it real. Yakuza Like a Dragon's coming out this month. I am a huge Yakuza fan. Dude, I can't even tell you. I'm going to be playing so many hours of that. It's going to be absolutely nuts. It's going to be mind-boggling. I'm so excited. I'm going to pre-order. Get your popcorn. Awesome game. But yeah, it's too much competition. All these games. See, Starfield don't realize. I mean, they do realize. They possibly do realize. I take that back. But Bethesda need to realize this, in my opinion, that the fact of the matter is these video games that's coming out, especially these open world games, are taking hours and hours and chunks of our lives away. We got to make the decision, which game am I going to give the privilege of letting my human body, my human attention to take hours and hours away from my life, because time is on the clock. Our lives are on the clock here. Am I going to waste it playing this game that I really don't like? Am I going to force myself to like this game? Or is there another game that I might like that I'm going to... There's got to be an enjoyment. We just can't play the game to be playing the game. Oh, I'm going to... And that was a huge problem too, that people were saying that maybe hour after you get to your 20th hour of playing Starfield, then the game gets going. We don't have enough time, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have enough time for that. We don't have enough time to... The game has to be enjoyment. I give it, okay, 4 hours. If a game doesn't have, okay, 5 hours. 5 hours of gaming. If the game... Because you do got to give a game a little chance, because you got to learn the mechanics. You got to learn the story. Because at first, every game, we kind of like got to get into it. Like, oh, boy, what's the storyline? I got to learn the mechanics. Some of it is a chore. So I'll give it a good 5 hours, right? And then if you ain't feeling the game, then you're kind of like, well, let's just see what this other game got to offer. But to say 20 hours, 30 hours, 100 hours, then the game gets good, that's way too long for me to start feeling some type of enjoyment. If you don't feel enjoyment within the first 5 hours, well, not the first 5 hours, after the first 5 hours, if you don't start to say, oh, this game is going, oh, I want to find it, then you just need to go play another game. And I'm not saying Starfield is that. I'm just talking in general for any game of that reality. That's all I'm saying. Well, anyway, I'm Wacky Cat. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's all I got to say. Ranting and raving. And I'm out.